Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Viking.gg versus OG in the lower bracket grand finals of the Epic League Division 1. Who will we see take this series? There's a lot of games to play here, so there's going to be a little bit of wiggle room for both teams if they start maybe messing up at the start. You know, that's the thing. That's the good thing about best of fives is that it does give you that slight little bit of extra room to work with if you are having a little bit of a rough start. But in the negative side is that it can be very exhausting having to go through 5 games. If it does go to 5 games, obviously. But even still, we'll have to wait and see who actually who comes down top of this. Viking obviously got knocked down to this game by VP in the upper brackets by the gameplay of just being super non-stop aggressive coming out from VP. Just literally run at them and constantly fight and kill them as much as they could. Which is exactly what OG tend to do. So Viking, maybe they can learn some of the lessons from that previous series against VP and maybe try and bring something different to the table here. Or if they're just going to get run over by pretty much exactly the same play style, we'll have to wait and see how the game turns out. But either way, OG led up with the Morphlin pick as the first hero. Viking respond with the Lina, and there's still a Sven in the pool. Is OG going to go for the old Morphlin Sven combo, which they love to roll with so much? And they're not for now, actually. They grab the Earth Spirits. That's the other Morphlin pairing they'd like to get. Maybe they thought it was a little bit too early to grab the Sven just already. So instead, they'll grab the Earth Spirit. So the Morphlin, when he grabs that Aghanim Scepter, it'll just be turning into the Earth Spirit non-stop, rolling in there, and then you'll never be able to escape this Morphlin. He'll just be on top of you all the damn time. The Vikings do take the Bloodseeker as their second hero. Works pretty well in the hands of Toby for the off lane. And it pairs up quite nicely with the Lina as well. So we'll see if maybe he is going to be in position for Lina. And then try and like hit some LSAs, stun people in the Blood Rites. And it is quite a large amount of damage if you do get stuck in that. So we'll see what hero OG tends to pick up to try and go up against that lane. The Vikings going to try and run at them. OG actually ban out the Shadow Fiend now. Seeing that Boom has played it quite a few in games in the past, but it is a very particular lineup that needs to fit into. I wouldn't have thought Viking would have bothered going for it, seeing as how there's already been an Earth Spirit grab. The Shadow Fiend's very vulnerable to getting ganked. He's a super squishy hero. So all you need to do really is just get like a good couple of ganks on him in the early parts of the game, really shut him down early on, and then he loses a high amount of his potency. But even still, OG will pay respect to the way that Boom actually plays it and just take it away now. Just making sure they don't have to deal with that potential hero grab. So see what Vikings going to ban out. They'll probably start focusing a lot of their hero bans towards Seb for the offlane, I imagine. That's generally like the normal trend that a lot of teams do. Not really bothering to try and focus down mid one. Maybe where his hero pool's too diverse. You want to make sure you lock down those key teamfight heroes that Seb likes to roll with. And it will be the Enigmas, the first ban. We'll probably see a Beastmaster ban as well. And possibly a Earth Spirit, Elder Titan ban. Maybe. Possibly. If they do really just want to focus all their attention over the Seb, of course. But OG, they take away the Faceless Void. One of Shad's favoured position 1 heroes to play with. They're all going to be up against the Morphling though, so they're going to make sure they try and grab a position 1 that can play up against that relatively well towards the later parts of the game. I think one of Shad's other sort of favoured heroes is like the Life Stealer, which could work quite nicely. But I mean, with this strategy that OG is going to be rolling with, as soon as Topson gets that Aghanims online, it will just be non-stop aggression coming out from the side of OG. So you can't go with a hero which is super greedy and needs to go really late game to actually try and get a full potential. So, you know, things like a Spectre or Medusa, those sort of heroes wouldn't really pan out too well against the potential game plan coming out from OG right now. So maybe, yeah, the Life Stealer would be quite a nice grab, seeing as how he can get active as soon as he gets that Armlet of Mordigian picked up. Can be quite a potent force to start running around the map and making space. What other sort of position 1s could they potentially grab early on? The PA, if she goes for just a fighting build, so going straight for like a Desolator. Especially if they could definitely run that if they're going to pick up a Magnus potentially as their position 5, running that into the hands of Solari. Solari. I'm sure it's spelled like Solari, but that sounds awkward to me. But I probably should say it like that. There probably is ways he actually wants people to say his name. So what they're going to grab as third hero pickup now. It tends to be the like one of the other supports as the first pick, just to make sure there's a little bit less wiggle room for the other side to try and counter pick your main core. Well, that's the general strat anyway, but they could just completely throw that out the window and go for a core themselves. But no, they could grab the Undying now. But that is the position 5 pickup. So they're not going to go for any sort of, like I say, mag into the PA attempts. Let's see what OG are going to grab. The Sven is still in the pool. And then that will give 2 targets for Topson on this Morphlin to change into once he gets that Ags online. And I think maybe OG are just thinking about it right now. Like, should we go for it? Should we try to run this cheese that we've ran so many times before? It does normally work out. It's so goddamn annoying just when you're playing up against it. There's these 2 heroes just Superman around the map, stunning you in your face, doing a bajillion damage. It's really goddamn difficult to try and survive against. But they're actually going to grab the Nyx Assassin now. Okay, so this is going to be a core Nyx Assassin. Put it into the hands of Seb perhaps, or is No-Tail going to put it into the 5? As the Aspect grab is most likely going to be for Saxa as the position 4. But Viking grab the Sven now as their 4th hero pickup and their position 1. So there is still the potential for Topson, even when he gets Aghanim's line, just to target the Sven anyway. And then, so no matter what, there is still going to be the potential. If obviously Saxa is already dead and he needs that target, he will obviously go for that Sven as the key hero to pinpoint with his ultimate there. But as you really think about now what they want to grab as their 4th hero, and something they could play up against the Sven quite well. And it's actually just going to be the Batrider. So it is a Magic Immune Piercing Disable as well with the Flaming Lasso. Quite nicely to try and drag someone out of position, especially halt the damage progress of the Sven if you can lasso him and maybe even take him up to a high ground area. So it could definitely be a decent way of mitigating the effectiveness of Shad in the coming fights. We'll have to see if that's actually the way that it plays out at all. But it is looking like it's still the position 1 for OG left to pick up, but the mid lane for Viking. So OG lead up by taking away the Storm Spirit, or taking it away. Viking ban out the Life Stealer. So you need sort of a hero on OG that can follow up from the Morphling with the super aggressive dives forward. They could just take the PA, to be honest. The Phantom Strike can follow up when Topson goes flying on in there. Plus, it will force the Sven to eventually try and build the MKB to actually be able to do damage to her. Yeah, I think the PA for OG could be quite nice. We'll see if maybe that's what Viking are going to ban out as their final ban. It's actually going to be the Ember Spirit. It's definitely another hero that can easily follow up the Morphling's aggression. I suppose they sort of need a hero that can lane quite nicely with the Nyx Assassin as well. It's sort of looking like it will be the Nyx as the position 5 for No-Tail. Unless this is... I think No-Tail has actually run the Batrider as a support for in the past. And this could then just be a Seb Nyx Assassin. We'll have to wait and see what it is actually going to end up being. OG, they're actually gone for the Clinks. Goddamn Clinks. One of the most banned heroes lately in all your pubs because it's got such a sick win rate. Just abusing the Death Pact ultimate, getting ridiculous stats. So we'll see if maybe Viking, what they're going to pick up as their mid laner to try and counteract this. Clinkz pick up potentially. Someone who builds a Orchid is quite nice to try and pick him off before he can just go invis and get out there with the Skeleton Walk. Maybe also someone who likes to build a Eul Scepter, because obviously the Clinkz does like to build a Orchid Malevolence themselves. Well, that's just going to go for the Zeus. So at least the Zeus, it will provide vision to try and detect mid one as he's trying to run away, but a very squishy hero though, so if mid one just starts firing some of those arrows towards him, the Zeus will probably melt very, very quickly. We'll see how this pick ends up panning out for him. And so yeah, it is an Hotel on the Nyx Assassin, as we were expecting. So it looks like mid-one's going to be able to keep his distance in the lane though, so he shouldn't be too badly phased out by the Blood Rites coming out from Toby. But maybe he will though, because the attack range of a Clinkz is quite poor when in relation to a lot of other ranged heroes. So it could still zone him out. Obviously, I think Viking will really struggle to try and get a kill on this Clinkz in their lane, but they might potentially be able to grab out the Nyx Assassin. But it's going to be very easy for N0tail to get stuns onto, like initiating stuns onto Toby. All he has to do is just use that Carapace on the Blood Rite when it's about to pop. We'll see Shad obviously going to be up against Seb and Saksa. The Batrider will be pretty annoying for him to deal with. Solari will probably be trying his best to try and zone him out, but even then the Undying probably might struggle a little bit to truly zone out a Batrider. Obviously, the ideal matchup for an Undying is trying to go up against like a melee strength hero, and then the Decay just really works dividends and draining all of their HP plus their damage as well, making them really effective to trade with. But the sticking napalms from Seb will make it quite difficult for Solari to actually try and get those favourable trades. We'll see how it ends up panning out for him, of course. Could go either way.
That wasn't too much.
So here we are, first game between Viking.gg and OG in the lower bracket grand finals of the Epic League tournament. We'll see who's able to take this game and get a head start in this best of 5 series and try and set the pace of how the rest of the games are going to go. Or if it's just going to be a complete back and forth series and truly just paint a picture of what this best of 5 is going to turn out to be. But I mean, looking at these lineups, I don't feel like one team is particularly super far ahead of the other. It still feels relatively even. I think I'm slightly favouring OG. Just from the way normally that the Topson's Morphling paired with the Ember Spirit, Earth Spirit, does end up panning out for him. Just as I was saying before, the high mobility is really annoying to deal with when you're on the side of Viking. It's Morphling will easily be able to find the backlines every single time, so Aramis and Solari are going to have to be really careful with how they start positioning themselves. Once that Aghanim is online, of course. They've got a little bit of time before they have to worry about that. But it will be coming eventually, that's for sure. The 3 heroes for Viking down the spot. They want to try and force Seb off this bounty rune. And it looks like they will. So we'll just end up being a 2-for-2 on the bounties across the map. Named Solari, just making sure that no one's just forgotten about the triangle bounty there. This mid matchup, the Zeus and the Morphling, it should be relatively even. Obviously, Boom be able to keep his distance and farming up with the Arc Lightning. Topson probably will get harassed quite a bit once obviously the Arc Lightning just constantly jumping onto him every single time that Boom casts it. But once Topson gets his level 3, 2 points into that attribute shift, he should be able to very effectively mitigate a large portion of the damage that he will sustain. from the Arc Lightning. There should just be a very passive, sort of stale game for a while, I would imagine. Not a huge amount of kill threat coming out from either side. Shad and Celery just charging at Saxa. Trying to do a little bit of bonus damage to him for dragging their creep over behind. Now there's going to be a massive horde of creeps here for Seb to start pushing onto this tier 1 tower already. Ooh, roll forward there for Saxa, but Shad just backsteps in time. Avoids the connection. It does keep him alive. Well, it might not have killed him, but it definitely saved a large chunk of his HP. As I imagine Seb probably would have taken a Firefly there and tried to burn down Shad as much as he could. But there is the potential for Seb and Saxa to maybe go aggressive once Seb has got his level 3 and Saxa's got his level 2. It can be quite a large amount of damage once there's 2 points into that sticky napalm. In the mid, CS scores very, very similar. Just a slight lead so far for Boom. Both of these heroes are actually doing really well on denies. 5 for Boom, 6 for Topson. So both of these heroes are going to have a little bit of a slower level time in this game. Oh, I actually ended up missing it, but down bot. Celery does die by Seb to get the first blood. But then Seb just gets immediately killed on there in return by Shad. So, I mean, yeah, sure. The Batrider gets the bonus goal for the first blood, but I don't think Viking really mind too much. That was a solo kill for Shad, plus the little bit extra gold. So, a big, nice chunk of experience and money. I think they're perfectly happy with that trade. Still up at this top. Mid 1 CS is actually not doing too hot at the moment. Only 8-1 at 3 minutes 20 into the game. I mean, I'm sure the attack animation and speed of the Clinks is quite poor. So maybe that is the reason why he's struggling quite a bit. But actually down bomb, Celery dies once again. As I was saying earlier, once Seb hits that level 3, the 2 points into the sticky napalm makes it very difficult for melee heroes to try and deal with. Oh, and a very aggressive glyph there, coming out by Seb. Just want to dive on the Shad now. Got 9 sticky napalm stacks. Even the roll forward there from Saxa connects onto Shad and brings him down. And it's going to be some nice early damage onto the tier 1 tower already. And already the tilting tips come out from OG. Truly what you would expect. So Celery actually had to walk all the way back to lane as his TP was on cooldown for when he previously died. At least Shad doesn't have to get punished that way. We'll manage to TP back into lane. But this could just happen again very soon. Sax is actually setting up for the mid. Wants to try and help Topson get a first blood. Well, not first blood, but his first kill of the game. We'll see if Boom's going to get caught out by it. But he does realise that Saxa here, there was this high ground ward. Spotted out the rotation from Saxa there. And they'll probably even see him heading down this direction. So they'll probably figure out that there's a ward going to be down here somewhere. So there should be a quick deny coming out from Alamis or Celery pretty soon. So mid 1, now he's left alone a little bit. He might start being able to get his CS score up a notch. Toby obviously is running out of mana, so he can't just constantly spam those blood rights. This is the benefit of the Nyx Assassin support, just constantly tossing mana burn onto the Bloodseeker. Definitely makes the lane a little bit easier for mid 1. Hasn't got to worry about getting zoned out by those big AoE blood rights. But it's not like there's going to be much kill threat coming out from this, from No Tail though. You know, it's just going to be 2 points into Carapace, 1 mana burn, not even bothered with the Impale. Just wants to make it a little bit easier for mid 1 to farm up. Actually, Aramis has ended up just rotating down to the bot lane. Gets spotted out by Saxa though, so they're not going to be able to get any sort of surprise gank onto Seb or the Earth Spirit. So they will manage to just keep themselves safe for now. That's actually just going to force Aramis to start rotating back towards the mid. Dive forward from Thompson. Just a little bit of harassment. Wanted to go get the bottom room, but Aramis was there to secure it up, make sure Thompson doesn't get his bottle refilled. So Seb's nearly level 6 now. That will be a very scary time for Viking. The roll from Sucks actually connects on Slurry, kicks him backwards. Not really enough sticky napalm to bring even down. Instead, it's going to focus onto the tombstone, because even that's a large chunk of gold. An extra 125 there for Seb for all he had to do was just throw a couple of sticky napalm stacks. But we've definitely seen Toby's game slow down. Obviously, because of the mana burn coming out from No-Tail every single time the skill's up. As the Bloodseeker does heavily rely on that skill to actually get his CS. And if he can't spam it, he just feels relatively useless. It's not exactly like the mana burn's the cheapest skill to spam in the world. It's 100 mana a pop. And the Nyx only has 375 max total. Quite a lot of stacks. Flame Lasso coming out from Seb down bottom. Just use it onto Celeri. Wants to net a free kill onto the position 5. But Shad's come in with the stun. Trying to hold him back in place. Even Aramis rotated around. Nice little LSA connection. And with the Thunder God's Wrath and Boom, finishes him off. At least though he did still get the kill onto Celeri just before, well, just after he died actually. But even still, not too bad there from Viking. Taking down the Batrider. Plus that was the Flame and Lasso used. So a little bit of you know, mental security for Shadow Boom, really. Just knowing that for the next minute or so, there's not going to be a Flame Lasso to potentially catch someone out of position. Saxa, it looks like he's found the initiation onto Aramis. There is the LSA to hold him back. It was just in time to actually stop the Rolling Boulder from coming out. Thompson just keeps jumping forwards, trying to harass out the Zeus. They're chasing after him, but there's not really much they could do to him. Like, he's got 4 points into Attribute Shift. And Decay means absolutely nothing. So Success rotate top. Maybe they want to potentially set up for a move onto Toby. But Toby just can't really do much. He was at like top of that CS chart for such a long time. But as I was saying, because No-Tail's constantly burning his mana, he cannot use his Blood Right every single time it's off cooldown. And he's dropped really far behind on CS now. He's still got a million miles behind. He's actually pretty much tying with Seb at the moment. But even still, a Bloodseeker would very much like to be a little bit further on than what he is at the moment. No-Tail just scouting out all these wards. Oh, OG. Seb actually finds a free con slowing down bottom. Then Saxa and No-Tail trying to apply a little bit of pressure onto Boom. It might just cost Saxa his life. The boulder, though, did manage to get off without being cancelled out. So, new one actually ends up dying. But even still, as I was saying, No-Tail's got plenty of vision. Spots out all these stacks. Even an actual Observer ward in the Ancient spawn at the moment. So as soon as anyone on the side of Viking actually even attempts to go for this stack, we'll probably see mass rotations coming out from the side of OG to try and punish it. The 10-minute bounty spawning very soon. It looks like OG should be able to secure both the bottom ones. And even mid one and No-Tail now want to try and head into the Radiant Triangle. Toby rotates in now with the Rupture onto mid one. Going to try and lock it down in place. Aramis with the LSA connection. Looks like mid one will fall. There's no escape for him and he does drop. So nice pick off there by Viking, but they still do lose 3 of the 4 bounties. But yeah, I don't think they mind too badly. The kill onto mid one, probably a little bit more worth it than just 1 extra bounty rune to maybe go even. Saxa hanging around the mid. He's actually going to spot out Boom. Is this going to be the potential roll forward here? And is he going to go for it? The roll forward now comes in. Oh, the silence actually long range. He didn't drop a remnant to go for the long range boulder, so he doesn't actually end up catching anything. And now Shadow going to start working on all these stacks. Pops his God Strength. no one from the side of OG is actually going to be able to get here in time to stop this from happening. This is just free money there. Seb actually ends up rotating up to top as well. Wants to try and get another kill on Soleri, but not going to be able to find it. No-Tail just wasn't quite sure if he wants to try and just go straight for the tombstone or try and dodge the blood right. Ends up trying to do both. So as you would expect, Shad is still at the top of that net worth chart. Despite the fact that he was being not punished really down bottom, but his farm was being slowed up. But Sucks at 7, they're actually making the move now onto Boom. They will find him with the Magnetize and the Flame and Lasso. The Zeus does drop. There's a lot of other members from Viking around this area. They want to try and maybe punish Seb if they possibly can, but he's just too damn fast. He's got those bots online. He's going to run straight into Shad though. Has Shad got the utility to try and bring Seb down? I don't think he does. Going to put the war cry. Obviously, there is the bloodthirst there from Toby. Nearly brings him down, but not quite enough to actually finish him off. And Seb escapes with his life. Meanwhile, Soleri in the back did actually end up dropping down by No-Tail and Saxer, I think it was. Oh, nice little deny there by Shad. Just reducing the money on the side of OG. The next level play indeed. So what's mid one building as his first item? He is working towards that Orchid Malevolence. He's got something coming in the curry. Is it finished? Okay, he's actually got his Orchid finished now. So this will be the potential time for him to try and get some easy ganks off. Probably be the Zeus as his primary target. So we'll see who he's actually going to hunt for. Quite a lot of TP rotations coming out from OG. The scan though there from Viking actually connects perfectly. Mid one though still going to do on the hunt forwards. Thinking about maybe want to initiate onto Toby, but it's probably one of the worst targets to go on. He's pretty damn tanky. Prefer Shad or Boom if he could potentially find it. That ward's actually just in the range of that sentry, so that'll probably get denied out eventually. Mid one is still just on the hunt for something, but every single member of Vikings is on the other side of these trees. So it'll be very difficult to kill to go for, and he will actually just change his mind and go back to just kind of carry on farming up for a little bit. Doesn't want to keep wasting any time trying to just wait for someone to step out of position on the side of Viking. But instead, Viking actually gone for a 5-man smoke up, heading towards the top lane. It's just poor old No-Tail up here, so I don't think there's going to be much chance of him surviving. LSA and the Blood Rite, he just about managed to get the carapace off of time. That might be enough space for him to actually get out there. But there is the Rupture and the Thunder God's Wrath, so he will still drop. With the ult, spots out the location of everyone else on the side of OG, so there should be a free tier 1 going for Viking. Not going to be any sort of defensive response coming out from OG to stop this. I don't think they really care that much though. Actually, mid one is TP tier 2 tower with the Skeleton Walker. Maybe he wants to try and pick someone off. And Toby will be the only one here that's going to hang around. The roll fall from Saxer and mid one. Obviously the Orchid Malevolence. Way too much damage for Toby to try and survive this. Oh, nearly manages to run away, but the Orchid Malevolence burst damage at the end finishes him off. Free kill for the Clanks. And Thompson's actually going shotgun build, not really bothering to go for the Aghanim straight away like we tend to see him do. But even still, he's got this online at 14 minutes in. Very nice timing. And it's going to hurt real damn bad on Aramis and Boom. It's two very squishy heroes. So see who gets caught out by that. No-Tail is initiating onto Soleri, trying to hold down. Jump fall from Seb, wants to go to the connection to someone. And finally clicks the Flame and Lasso there onto Shad, brings him down. The shotgun just enough to finish him off. Now the Rupture actually onto mid one, try and lock him down, but there's not going to be too much follow-up for the rest. Double Impale coming out there from No-Tail, making a lot of space. Soleri ends up dropping down from Thompson as well. And now the rest of Viking put themselves in a really dodgy situation. Toby, he ends up dropping. Aramis falls as well. And it's 4 deaths to the side of Viking, not getting a single thing out of it. I imagine that did sting pretty damn bad. And that was even Shad getting involved. Well, I mean, it wasn't him getting involved, it was actually him getting ganked on. I believe it still ends really, really badly for him. And OG just going to go straight into the Roche pit with this. Double damage on Thompson. Still just about had a little bit of duration of its left. Plus the Searing Arrows for mid one. Makes quick work for the Roche. Actually, Thompson keeps getting bashed up. So we'll probably see mid one take the Aegis. I don't think Thompson needs it, does he? Actually, no, they are going to give it to Thompson. Maybe it's where he's just going to be constant full Agi morph, wanting to go for that big shotgun damage that he's not really He's not really too worried. But mid one's not that worried about dying. Shad still managing to happily farm away. Went for that Hand of Midas to really try and ramp up his farmer speed and try and get a bit of a gap between him and the calls of OG, but I'm not sure if this was a really effective play, as OG have gone for a very sort of early fighting style of items and hero pickups. So they probably look to punish this item. So it's effectively just a Echo Saber and a bit of bonus attack speed on Shad at the moment for 16 minutes in. He's trying to get his BKB as his next item, but he's still a couple of thousand gold away, so he's not going to have it anytime soon. I imagine OG just probably going to carry on applying pressure constantly to try and abuse this. Seb actually just finds the free kill onto Aramis down bot. And that would be the cue for Solari and Shad just completely abandon the bot lane and try and head somewhere else. Shad actually ends up TPing up to the top. Needs to be careful. There's quite a lot of heroes of OG around here. And he's going to show himself. And they're all going to immediately start beelining towards him. Like, what the hell is this guy doing here? He's going to go into the trees, but he doesn't even have a TP. Perfectly found there by Topson with that waveform. And that was a lot of rotations coming in from the rest of Viking. They want to try and find him. But the E-Blade actually from Topson's keeping Shad alive for a really long time. It will finally wear off. Thunder goes wrap as well from Boom. Shad actually manages to get out there. A little bit of a mistake from OG. Septo finds the kill on Solari, but it looks like mid one's not going to be able to escape this. Actually, Topson rolls in there and just enough damage. Actually keeps mid one alive for now. And Sarkis has just rolled in himself. Maybe wants to try and find a +1, but they're not going to be able to get it. But even still, despite the failing gank there onto Shad, they find 2 kills either way. So there's just a couple of members of Viking throwing their lives away just to keep it like, oh my days, mid one. He's surviving 10 HP. Aramis gets immediately punished for that very cheeky play. Gets deleted. Wow, I was so close though. It was literally about 5 HP the mid one survived by then. Super, super close. Nice attempt there by Aramis. Definitely worth a cheeky pump. I think if he did it probably like a second or two sooner, then mid one probably would have died because the natural HP regen probably just about kept him in that. Oh. Noto tried to catch out Toby there going for the rune. Doesn't actually end up locking him in place. So lucky break for Toby this time. So Noto. Oh, Sentry Ball gets dropped by Solari, so they're immediately going to spot out the fact that Notel's here. But even still, he's going to get started, follow up with the initiation from everyone else on the side of OG. Looks like Notel's going to get caught up. Sarkis roll. It actually just catches him out on the cliff, so he's stuck here. He's going to try and roll down, but managed to get out of there. But even still, Top's going to try and stand his ground. Gets a shotgun there onto Toby. Not enough damage to actually bring him down, though. But Sarkis not done yet. He rolls forward into 5 members of Viking with the God Strike as well from Shad. Doesn't even need to hit him. Everyone else on the side of Viking just melts down the Earth Spirit. And Topson needs to get out of there. So actually a pretty nice trade there from Viking. Got two little cheeky kills. It is just the supports of OG, so it's not exactly like it's the biggest find in the world, but you know, 2 kills is a lot better than nothing. Now maybe on the Seb's end are getting caught out, but not before Solari actually ends up dying. And Seb still has the Blink Dagger to work with. Doesn't quite want to dive forwards to the tier 2s though. We'll just let the Viking have what little space they have. What they can get. But actually, looks like Topson, he tried going for the shotgun there. Onto Boom. Doesn't actually find the kill. But he does now have that Aghanims online. Ooh. It's very, very dangerous shifting down to 1 HP when you're up against a Zeus. Especially seeing as how there is a Bloodseeker as well, so he immediately gets spotted as soon as he goes down to 1 HP. And that is the time that Boom can just slap that R button and blow up the Morphling. So maybe if I can want to make a move on to Seb, they're actually going to just run into him, but he gets spotted by the Firefly. The roll toss from Toby, trying to lock in place. Just about manages to get the 4-staff and the nice cocktail and Blink Dagger away there from Seb. Escapes the gank coming out from Viking, and now potentially wants to try and make a turnaround. This Blink Dagger is still alive for another 5 seconds. He's not going to be able to find anyone just yet. Even the Rupture there from Toby. Just trying to make a little bit of space. Doesn't actually end up finding anything. But now Saxo, though, he's still on the hunt forwards, gets the slow onto Toby, and the rest of OG are rotating around from the side. So I don't think there's any surviving for this Bloodseeker. And Celeri actually ends up just getting caught out there by Thompson. Another 2 kills for the side of OG. And then another jump forward. Sebi manages to get the Flame Elastic Collector on Taramis. He drops as well. Look at this Thompson, he's just not done. He's just mad rolling forwards. Wanted to try and go for the long range connection there onto Shad, but just couldn't quite make it in time. And this is what we see from the side of OG. Just every single time they get that Morphling Earth Spirit parent, it is just so damn scary and potent to deal with. Thompson, and again, he's just constantly charging forwards, finds the connection with the Shadow, brings him down underneath the tier 4 towers. There's no support from the rest of Viking to try and keep their position 1 alive. And they're losing their bottom set of barracks 21 minutes into this game. And it just feels like there's nothing they could do to stop it from happening. They're down 15,000 gold. They don't really have any easy sort of comeback mechanics. And Shad, he's finished up his BKB, but he still hasn't even had the chance to use it. OG just work up to the tier 2. That gets brought down with the Desolator on mid 1 as well. Makes quick work of all the buildings. Soon gonna have his own BKB available. I guess they didn't really care about that wood. I think they didn't know it was there though, right? I'm sure they knew it was there. Thompson's sending his courier. Yeah, there is a ward here, boys. Sucks to just use the smoke just to make sure they clear it out. But there is a smoke in return coming out here from Viking. 4 members all heading through the mid. We'll see if they manage to get a nice initiation onto anyone. What they really need is a high priority kill onto either mid 1 or Thompson. Even Seb would be nice just to try and make a little bit of space for him. Toby ends up leading the charge, finds Thompson, he immediately just rolls on out of there, turns the Earth Spirit. Now No Tail with his tail, gets the grab on Toby. Once again, Thompson just flies on in there, boots Shad miles away, just really mitigating a lot of the effects of this from this Sven. Forced out the BKB and the God Strength. It looks like No Tail's probably going to be the only casualty on the side of OG. And he does end up dropping. But even still, Thompson, he finds a return kill of his own. It will be Toby. Midwine actually gets that last hit with a Searing Arrow. So now it's down to a 4-on-4 situation, but I think this definitely just favours OG, seeing as there was No Tail for Toby. Again, Spirit turned into Thompson, rolls forward. Just how does he find that connection to Celeri all the way back in the base? Midwine just deletes him with his right clicks. And Thompson's not done yet. Maybe thinking about trying to find something else. Fires the knee blade off, add boom, slowing him down, gonna roll forwards. No, the damage just immediately blows up the Zeus, dead in a second. Shad even drops in the background to 7 mid 1. And Viking just called GG. They know just how far behind they are this game. They are done. So soul crushing. And this is what happens. This is why so many teams, they ban out the Morphling when you're going up against OG. You cannot let Thompson get this hero. Because if they pair it with the Earth Spirit or even the Sven in certain occasions, you can see how he used it. Just punishes any single time he gets vision on anybody. Just starts making a beeline towards them, gets a kill, goes back. Oh, someone else has appeared on the map. I'm going to go for them instead. Charges towards them, gets another one. Just OG's non-stop aggression. Just really coming out well there in that game. And, I mean, as I was saying in the draft, Viking being knocked down by VP, it was a very similar playstyle. And it still just doesn't seem like they've managed to adjust correctly for it. Shad going for that Hand of Midas, you can't. I just feel like you can't go for long-term farming items when you're playing up against OG. You need to get online as fast as you can to try and counteract it. You can't just like go back into your normal sort of build list. You got to mix up a little. So we'll see if Vikings going to be able to take this second game. Obviously, it is a best of 5, so even if they lose the second one, they're not out. But you never want to put yourself into a position where you're forced to win 3 games in a row to try and take the series. So we'll see if they're able to maybe get the next map, or if OG going to do just the same thing. Super aggression, just close out the match as quickly as they possibly can. So hopefully if you guys enjoyed this one, I'll see you for game 2. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, think about dropping a like or anything like that. So cheers for your help. And yeah, I'll see you for game 2. Thanks for watching that video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it and the content I was able to provide. I am just starting out, so if you did like it and you want to support me in the future, then please think about following and subscribing to me on Twitch, Twitter and YouTube. I post on Twitter what events I plan on covering in the future and when I'm actually able to do some casts. I don't have the most free time in the world, unfortunately, so I can't provide constant content, but I can guarantee you every single time that I do cast, I'm giving it my all, because I have a lot of passion for it, and hopefully that does come off. So once again, hopefully you guys enjoyed it and you stick around for the next video. So hopefully I see you guys there. Cheers.